You're listening to Unhooked, the Breaking Porn Addiction podcast. On today's episode, talking about the $1 billion potato chip analogy and why it's going to help you break free from porn. So, stay tuned. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another episode of the Unhooked podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Lipkowitz. Today with a very short episode inspired by a coaching call that I just came off of. This is with the group community, the Unhooked Academy community live coaching call. And there is an analogy that is incredibly helpful for understanding porn addiction and understanding why it is so hard to break free from. And this is an analogy that keeps coming up. And today we actually built off of it in a way that was even more powerful, and I wanted to share it with you all today. So this is the analogy that I've used often in the past, that porn and social media and thirst traps and all that is a lot like junk food. And we've all heard that analogy before. It makes sense. Porn is like junk food for the brain. And I've used this analogy before that porn is a lot like eating Doritos potato chips. It's like these really intense, overly stimulating, snacky foods that just give you this rush of flavor and stimulation and intensity every time you bite into it. And so you can imagine something like a Cool Ranch Doritos potato chip or extreme nacho cheese Doritos potato chip. And in the past, I came up with this analogy that it's even worse than that. Being addicted to porn, where it's highly stimulating, highly novel, and it actually makes it harder to appreciate your normal sex life and healthy intimacy with your partner. It's like having a Doritos potato chip that every time you reach into the bag, there is a new flavor that comes out. So it's this super exciting, novel, thrilling, intensely stimulating experience. And it makes it hard to appreciate normal, healthy, nourishing food. If your entire diet is Doritos potato chips and candy bars and ice cream and cheeseburgers, it's going to be very hard to have a healthy appreciation for healthy foods that are nourishing to you. So, meat and vegetables and, just natural whole foods without a lot of added flavors and all these things. It's going to be very hard to have a healthy, balanced diet if all you're eating is junk food. Now, today we came up in the group with this even more relevant and kind of poignant analogy that it's not just a flavorful potato chip, and it's not just a potato chip where every time you reach into the bag, there's a new flavor that comes out. It's even worse than that. So here's the new analogy. Imagine you have a bag of potato chips where every time you reach in to grab one of these potato chips, there is a multi-billion-dollar algorithm that figures out how to precisely engineer that potato chip to be maximally stimulating and dopaminergic. That it knows your exact flavor profile, it knows you, and it engineers it specifically to your type, to your tongue, to your biochemistry. And every time you take that bite of the potato chip, it is engineered by this algorithm to be maximally stimulating. That is what it's actually like when you're engaging with porn, because that's the truth of the situation. Behind the porn that you're watching, behind the social media that you're engaging on, the thirst traps, the TikTok and Instagram and social media, there is an algorithm that has been studying you for years, and it knows exactly what to deliver to you to be maximally addicting and stimulating. This is what it's like to be addicted to porn. You are getting hijacked by the porn industry, by billions of dollars of engineers and experts who are figuring out how to hijack your system as best they can. That is what it feels like to be addicted. And so just understanding that, first of all, a few things. One is it makes it a little bit more, you can have a bit more compassion for yourself, understanding why you're addicted to this thing and why it's so hard to break free from. because you're fighting against this billion-dollar industry that has a lot of money behind keeping you addicted. And it also starts to make sense why it becomes harder and harder to feel satisfied in your normal relationships and normal intimacy. Again, if your entire diet is these highly engineered potato chips that has the algorithm behind it that every bite is maximally engineered to be stimulating, again, it's going to be very hard to have a healthy diet of broccoli and some steak and, just natural whole foods that are nourishing. So the next time you're about to engage with porn or even with those thirst traps on social media, take a moment and remember that what you're about to take a bite of is an engineered, highly dopaminergic substance that is engineered to hijack you as much as possible and make you feel dissatisfied with anything else you're about to eat. So just take that away for today. I hope it's helpful for you to see it in this new light. That is what you're consuming when you are consuming porn. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this little mini episode, totally unscripted. Normally, I kind of think a little bit more about what I want to say, but this analogy that we came up with today in the group call was just so powerful, and I could see on a lot of guys' faces, they had this recognition, like, yeah, that's what it feels like. It's this, kind of toxic, superficial, plasticky, unnatural, non-organic substance that just feels not nourishing to the body. And when you start to view it in this way, it makes a lot more sense. If you want to be a part of that community, if you want to get access to these live coaching calls, access to the curriculum, to the course, to all the things we do, check out unhookedacademy.com. We are about to open doors for the next cohort, and you can be a part of that cohort if you wish. We just let in 20 people at a time. So if you'd like to be part of the next cohort, go check out unhookedacademy.com and get on the wait list so you'll be notified as soon as we open. All right, folks, that's it for today. Hope to see you guys on another episode. Peace.